Hi there, this is Flavia and I'm glad you're here. In today's Christmas All Year Round edition, we will be creating Christmas note cards featuring a few products from Stampenda's Holiday Hugs collection, available at Spellbinder's website. Let's begin by taking a closer look at the die set that I will be using today. This is the Gnome Hugs die set with 16 metal plates included. With this set, we can create a large and a small gnome, as well as stockings, horses, and snowflakes. There are also fun sentiment stamp sets included in this collection, and later on this video I will show you two of the stamp sets that I got. So let's begin by assembling the die cut pieces. Off camera, I die cut all of the pieces that I needed at once using cardstock scraps. Die sets like this, with small plates included, are great for using up your cardstock scraps so nothing goes to waste. If you're looking for good quality cardstock, know that Spellbinders has many colors available at their website. If you're interested, there is a supply list of all products used in today's video in the description box down below, and I'll make sure to include these colors of cardstock so you can check it out later. When assembling your die cut pieces, make sure to use a good quality adhesive so you know your project's gonna last a very long time and none of your pieces are going to start falling apart later. I have been using the Barely Art glue that I transferred to this needle tip bottle for many years now, and I highly recommend it. It is a very strong glue that dries clear and it will last you a very long time. I also find it helpful to use a pair of self-lock tweezers to hold your small die-cut pieces and to have a piece of paper towel around so you can immediately wipe off any glue that is oozing out. If you don't have the color of cardstock that you need, remember that you can simply die-cut it out of white cardstock and make it any color you want by coloring them with marker or ink blending over them. If you plan to make lots of note cards like I'm doing today, I advise you to die-cut all of your pieces at once to be more efficient and so you can better enjoy the process. One of my favorite things to do in card making is assembling die cut pieces, and I just have the best time doing so when I have all of the pieces already die cut and sorted out. I also advise you to die cut more pieces than what you need so you can have leftovers that you can later use to decorate the inside of your note cards and even the envelopes to make them match. Moving on to the next step, let me give you a closer look at the two stamp sets that I got from this collection. This one on the right is the Holiday Hugs Sentiment Clear Stamp Set. There is a lot of great sentiment stamps in this set, as well as postal designs such as postal envelope corner, postage cancellation, and postage stamp. This other one on the left is the Gnome Hugs Sentiment Clear Stamp Set. This one has wonderful sentiments that work great with the gnome die cuts, such as Hearts Go Gnome for the holidays, Gnome is where the heart is, and You Make Me Smile no matter what. I also love this large border stamp that we get at the bottom. I think it's beautiful. And all of these smaller stamps such as stars, snowflakes, and branches are just perfect for creating holidays note cards. Here I have my mini Misty stamping tool, and on the acrylic door I already placed my postal envelope corner stamp. Using different colors of ink, I will stamp the postal envelope corner on pieces of white cardstock that I cut to 4 by 5 1/4 inches. I will begin with the Simon Says stamp ink pad in the color Surf. To make sure that my cardstock doesn't shift, I will hold it in place with a magnet. And the great thing about using the Misty stamping tool is that we can stamp many panels at once in the same spot, as long as we don't move that stamp that is stuck to the acrylic door. For each panel, I will stamp the postal envelope corner twice on two opposite corners of the cardstock. Make sure to clean up the stamp that is stuck to the acrylic door when switching colors so you do not contaminate your ink pads. Also, make sure to clean up your stamp without removing it from the acrylic door so you are able to continue stamping exactly on the same spot. If you're interested, I have the name of each beautiful ink pad that I'm using today on the bottom left corner. So now, using my Simon Says Stamp Tea ruler and a mechanical pencil, I will make a dot right in the center of this panel. So I can then draw a vertical line using a black pen to make this panel look like a postcard. After that, using black ink, I will stamp the postage cancellation on the top right corner. I completely forgot to add the postage stamps to my postcards, and even though I knew something was missing, I only noticed it after I finished recording this video. So for now, none of these postcards are going to have postage stamps. However, after I finished recording this video, I went back and stamped the postage stamp on each note card. And you can check out pictures of all of my note cards with the appropriate postage stamp over on my blog. To save me some time, I am actually stamping two things at once, which is another great thing about using a stamping tool like this. On the top right corner, I'm stamping the postage cancellation, and I'm also stamping the word to at the bottom. And once that's done, I will go ahead and add the die-cut elements that I created at the beginning of this video on the left side of this postcard. Right in front of me, I have the two stamp sets that I showed you earlier, and as I'm adhering the die-cut pieces to my postcard, I'm thinking about which sentiment I want to stamp later and making sure that I leave room for that as well. Because I really like all of the sentiments in both sets and the style of the letters, I will try to stamp as many different sentiments as possible. As a final touch, I added color to each stamped heart and leaves on each panel using Copic markers. And I added a little bit of shimmer to some of these die cuts using a shimmer pen. I also thought it would be a good idea to add tiny hearts to these gnomes to make them look extra cute. I also added die cut snowflakes here and there on a few postcards. And here is a closer look at the completed note cards. All of these note cards measure 5.5 inches wide by 4.25 inches tall. I glued each postcard panel to a black card base, and to make sure that I have a nice bright spot to write a special message, I also added white panels inside the note card as well as in the back, so I can add my handmade by stamp in the back. To make the envelopes match, I stamped one branch on each corner of the flap of the envelope using stamps included in the Gnome Hugs Sentiment stamp set. I also stamped the same set of images inside each note card and colored with Copic markers. For each note card with a gnome, I used a gel pen to add shiny dots in the background, and notice how much sparkle it adds. Since I didn't use the metal plates included in the Gnome Hugs die set to create the large gnome, before we go, I wanted to show you another note card that I created so you know what it looks like. So for this one, I used an embossing folder for the background, and I added a small and a large die-cut gnome as well as a red horse. For the sentiment, I stamped Heart Skull Gnome for the holidays inside a die-cut heart. So these are all of the note cards that I have to share with you today, and I hope you felt inspired. Thank you so much for spending this time with me, and if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. For pictures and more information, make sure to visit my blog. I hope you have a wonderful day, take care, and see you again soon.